You're listening to Radio Free UTOBITHA. I'm joined by best friend Tabitha today and another mystery guest who we will reveal later on in the show.
Ooh, how exciting!
We will also be discussing our take on the great green jewel of the Commonwealth, Diamond City.
Pah!
We will also be unveiling Tabitha's handy guide for all budding detectives, which will be invaluable information for anyone who wants a step-by-step pathway into the snooping industry. With all that being said, Tabitha, want to tell us about your week?
Absolutely. Well, as you know, we recently made it to Diamond City, where we have come to understand a tyrannical mayor is busy suppressing the freedom of the press.
How shocking!
Is it, though? The guy is a politician.
Makes sense. Do go on.
Well, despite making a note to destroy the mayor at a future date, our main point of call this week has been the Valentine Detective Agency, where a veritable snoop apparently does their work.
Ah, a snoop could be helpful in locating little Tabitha Jr., no?
That was my thinking, Rhonda, yes. So we headed on over there after stopping by a few stops on the way.
It turns out that I work at a little 24/7 store in the marketplace. I didn't even know.
Me neither. You should really give yourself a break from time to time.
Plenty of time for breaks when I'm dead.
That's the spirit, I guess.
Anyways, what of this detective agency? Did you find any of the answers you so seek?
Nope. Only more questions, Rhonda.
Isn't that always the way? There'll be more after this.
Hello, Governor. You look like your tum-tum needs some filling. Let Mrs. Thistledown get you one of her nice pies. She sources all of her ingredients from out in the wasteland, and if you don't start being more grateful, you might just become one. Slap your chops, Mrs. Thistledown's homemade pies. It's gravy in ya.
Welcome back. We are still hearing about Diamond City, and Tabitha, I believe you said you had a run-in with the local radio competition during your visits.
Yes, it turns out our only real competition in the area is a strange man-worm called Travis.
Man-worm? Is he some kind of mutant?
I can only hope so, Rhonda, because there was something awful slimy about the little creature, and it could do with all of the sweet mutating help it could get.
So, did you discuss collaboration as we had discussed?
No, I just left. The sad sight of that radio DJ will haunt me forever in my dreams.
Well, I wouldn't worry too much, Tabitha, because now I have a very special guest to introduce to you.
Oh?
You see, during our visit, I have been doing some flyering in the Dugout Inn, and by mere happen chance, I bumped into a local folk musician and maverick called RANNO the Wonderghoul.
They sound sketchy.
I'm very pleased to say that they are, and very possibly slightly talented.
This better not be a Donnie Love and the Pretenders situation again.
No, this guy is cool. He's a cool ghoul.
I guess we can have him on.
Oh, good, because he's here now. Thank you for coming in, RANNO. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on the show, girls. It's a privilege. Do you mind if I jet in here? Not at all. Anyways, for those of you listening, this is RANNO the Wonderghoul, a local experimental folk musician who is shaking up the musical scene in the wasteland with what has been described as extremely violent live shows. I try my best. So, how did you get started? What are your influences, and can you tell us more about your newest record? That's a lot of questions.
Better get talking then.
Well, I got started the same way everyone does. Loss. How mysterious. And so, this loss helped shape your particular style? No, that came after the anger. Cool beans.
Stop fangirling, Rhonda. We're not even sure if this guy can play.
Well, I suppose there's no time like the present. Slap on that guitar and get to strumming. Sure thing. Caps later, right?
A chest full of emeralds if you're lucky.
Works for me. This song is dedicated to my one true love, narcotics. Said 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm kidding, I never count in. Times are hard in this world. They put you down. They put you down. I got lost waiting for the railroad. Waiting for the railroad. Waiting for a chance. I got lost looking for the railroad. Tie me down and let go. One more time. It's a buzz that I can't do without. Don't know when to scream or shout. I'm so lost. Trickle out, make me into something. I've had enough of nothing. I'm someone now. Take a breath, let it fill your whole lungs. Let it flow and be spun all back around. I'm waiting for the railroad. Waiting for the railroad. Waiting for a chance. Tied to her tracks. No takesies back. I can't relax. I've been waiting for the railroad. Waiting for the railroad all my life. Take down time and time to her tracks. There's no going back. Not now. Thank you all so much. I've been RANNO the WONDERGHOUL. Wow! Now that was something.
Are you sure that was you singing?
Too right it was, sister.
How do you explain the harmonies then?
Sheer talent, brother.
mind if we swap notes later?
Sure thing. So that was RANNO the Wonderghoul, with Waiting for the Railroad, a song probably about trains. Something like that, yeah. So, how do you manage to sound so different when you are singing, RANNO? I just let the music take me. It also helps that my windpipe is split in two. Fascinating. More after this.
This is a transmission from the Bureau of Canned Food Public Safety Standards and Health. Once again, the individual calling themselves Andy 𝘕𝘰𝘶𝘮𝘮 has been using this radio frequency to tell lies. We are a real bureau. You can look us up. We do not appreciate receiving death threats from listeners and fans of the Doghouse brand. You cannot trust Andy 𝘕𝘰𝘶𝘮𝘮. We have reason to believe that the individual is doing something nefarious with the vast quantities of meat you are all sending in. Please stop. We do not wish to engage the full powers of our department, but hear this. We will not tolerate slander. It would be best if you were to turn yourself in, 𝘕𝘰𝘶𝘮𝘮. We can work something out with the marketing department or something. Consider this all and do the right thing. Otherwise, our hands will be forced.
Welcome back, and thank you again to RANNO the Wonderghoul for coming on the show. To close today, best friend Tabitha will be telling you all about her top tips for being a fantastic detective in the wasteland. Firstly, just how did you come up with all of this, Tabitha?
Well, in the absence of any real detectives in Diamond City, I was forced to create my own.
And so you just flawlessly reinvented yourself?
Not really, Rhonda. It turns out I had detective work in my very bones.
That's just fabulous. So, what have you learned in your time detecting?
Well, my first point of advice would be this. Don't be afraid to make the crime come to you. Let's face it, sometimes there's just not enough homicides going on, so it's up to you to pick up the slack.
So, you do the murdering too?
Oh, we don't like to use that kind of terminology in the force, but yeah, basically, yeah.
And, what kind of benefits does doing all of your own crimes have for a detective?
Well, it's much easier to solve when you did it.
That makes sense. Any other pointers?
Make sure to point the finger quickly. We are all in a hurry, and solving crime takes time. As such, it's incredibly important to blame a perpetrator right away and stick solidly to your guns.
I'm assuming, then, that you don't blame yourself?
Of course not, Rhonda. I'm a detective. We have rights or something.
Or something.
Anyways, once you've established a territory that you could reign over, with your detective work, I mean, then all that is left to do is to start charging people for your services.
Any advice on how to price oneself?
Very highly. You do hard work, and let's face it, Travis is going to pay you if you solve the crime or if you don't.
This is beginning to sound a little more like extortion than detectiving.
Oh, they're all very similar, Rhonda. Very similar.
I see. And with that, we are out of time. I'd like to say thank you to our special guests, best friend Tabitha and RANNO the Wonderghoul. And, as always, thank you all so much for listening. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share, and whack the bell for future episodes. And we hope you all have a lovely day.
Keep on keeping.